President Joe Biden and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are discussing a potential ceasefire deal with Hamas that could release dozens of hostages held in Gaza. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more on the ongoing discussions.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken on a Middle East mission today, publicly urging Hamas to accept what he calls an extraordinarily generous proposal from Israel for a ceasefire in Gaza in return for the release of hostages.
The only thing standing between the people of Gaza and a ceasefire is Hamas. They have to decide, and they have to decide quickly.
White House officials say an Israeli proposal is now on the table and being considered by Hamas.
We want it to last for about 6 weeks. It would allow for all those hostages to get out and, of course, to allow for easier aid access to places in Gaza.
Hamas apparently attempting to put pressure on Israel in the negotiations, releasing a video appearing to show 2 of its 133 hostages. Family of one of them, American-Israeli Keith Siegel, speaking out for the first time.
I and my family fear every day that passes that Keith and the other hostages aren't released, exposes them to potential harm, if not death.
Over the weekend, President Biden on the phone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, discussing a potential deal and the desperate need for more aid into Gaza. World Central Kitchen today resuming its efforts after 7 of its aid workers were killed. And the IDF releasing video showing U.S. troops working to construct a temporary floating pier so large shipments of aid can be brought in. Back to that phone call between President Biden and the Israeli Prime Minister. The White House says that the president once again urged Netanyahu not to mount a ground invasion into Rafah, that crowded city in southern Gaza, now home to more than 1 million refugees. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.